became obsessed. I became obsessed with being the baddest motherfucker that God ever created. Am I that? I don't care. I believe it. And I was trying to tell him, once you become obsessed with something, obsessed.
Are you going to be successful? What if I told you there was a way to find out? Just as you can tell if rain is going to fall by the signs of the weather, there are some signs you can use to predict if you are going to be successful or not. Keep in mind, these are just signs and not facts. Someone could have all this and still not be successful. On the flip side, somebody could have none of this and become wildly successful. But with all that said, here are 7 signs you are most likely to be successful. The first sign you are most likely to be successful is you are always learning.
When you're 20, even when you're 30, and in my belief, whatever age you are, I believe that you should take all of the excess money, live as cheap as you can, take 100% of that excess money and invest it in education that increases your earning capacity. Because what happens is when you take that money, like that phlebotomy course, right? And you take $25 an hour times 2,000 hours a year, you're now at a $50,000 a year income. Cool. If I can live on 20, because I'm 20 years old and I can live with buddies and we can eat ramen soup and whatever, and I got 30 left over, after taxes 25, whatever. 25 grand can buy you a lot of education. I would rather you, or I would rather me, or somebody who's 20 or somebody who's 30, take $2,000 a month, because that's what 25 grand is, and invest it in courses, coaching, mentorships, workshops, and seminars. Every month, I'm putting that 2K. Say that you take that $2,000 a month and you do that for 4 years. And I'm not saying do the 4-year degree. I think that is a play if you want to. I don't necessarily agree with it anymore in the marketplace that currently exists. 4 years later, I fucking guarantee you that you will be making more than people who have 4-year degrees. You'll probably start making money by the end of the first year. The amount of like copywriting courses and books and programs, mentorships, and even one-on-one coaching. Like, I think one-on-one coaching is a phenomenal way to learn a new skill. If you're like, hey, I need to know how to buy media. I need to know how to run an ad. Go pay someone who runs ads or teaches people how to run ads. When you make that payment, you're seeing it as one class in your entrepreneurial degree rather than this one $12,000 investment has to make me rich. If you can make that shift as like, this is my course. Like when you get your degree in college, you're not like, oh, I'm gonna take one class in Spanish, graduate, and get whatever job I want. No one thinks that way. But for some reason, they think about that when it comes to entrepreneurial stuff. You're not paying someone to think that they're going to be your savior. They're not gonna save you from your life, do everything for you. No one person is gonna teach you everything. Now, I'll do my best on this channel to teach you stuff I know, but you have something to learn from everyone.
What I've noticed from a lot of these successful people is they put a lot of emphasis on learning. The more you learn, the more you earn. And you can't do what you don't know. When you are reading books, watching educational videos or courses, listening to podcasts, or even a mentor, you are learning from people who are a lot further ahead of you and have gone through similar situations in the past. They are literally giving you a blueprint and roadmap on how to get to the success you desire. That's a cheat code. Unfortunately, most people, instead of learning, would prefer to just scroll through social media or watch stuff that's not really going to give them anything valuable in return other than cheap dopamine and a fleeting sense of pleasure. Look, my point isn't you shouldn't have fun or watch your favorite TV show. My point is you should make learning a priority because knowledge is power. If you are learning constantly, that's a sign you could be successful in the future. The second sign you are most likely to be successful in the future is you're extremely obsessive.
Especially if you're like extremely passionate about something at a young age, where most kids are, then it's more exacerbated that it's like, you know, I didn't talk to anyone. I hardly had any friends because I was so obsessed with YouTube.
This is one of the biggest indicators of success. People who eventually become successful obsess over their goal till they achieve it. To them, they can't live or function if they don't have the thing they desire. All their time, energy, attention, and many more is directed towards that goal. And because they feel the deprivation between where they are and where they want to get to, they work very hard to bridge that gap.
Motivation comes from deprivation. When are you more motivated to eat, drink water, sleep? When you're hungry, thirsty, and tired. Oh, when you're tired, hungry, or thirsty, you perceive a gap. Your motivation is proportional to your deprivation, how much you don't have. Right? Money, deprivation is not physiological. It's psychological. You only feel poor if you perceive a large gap between where you are and where you really want to be. So let's say you're at $5,000 a month in income, and your desire is to get to $10,000 a month. Fair enough? Cool. Now let's say this guy is doing $1 million a month in income, but he wants to get to $10 million a month in income. Relative to their goal, one guy is closer. He's only half of his goal. The other guy's 1/10 of his goal. Who's more deprived?
Unfortunately, most people are very lazy when it comes to their goals. They would literally do anything else that is not going to get them closer to their goals. The more obsessed you are, the more likely you are going to be successful. The third sign somebody is most likely going to be successful in the future is they have high emotional tolerance.
I want to remind this room that the 17th employee at Facebook made a lot more money than 99.99999% of entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurship on a pedestal is a very dangerous game. It's extremely lonely, it's extremely difficult, and the reality is to be a true entrepreneur that's able to navigate successfully, you have to be in a position where you have a great relationship with the judgment. People struggle with judgment, especially from their friends and family. Judgment is the poison of our society, and it is accelerated where you have nowhere to hide.
People with high emotional tolerance have a high chance of becoming successful. They don't fold under pressure. When they fail or something terrible happens, they're able to stomach the pain. They're able to learn from their mistakes, and most importantly, they're able to get back up and keep going. Many people, when they make a mistake, fail, or encounter setback, they feel very terrible and just give up on the whole idea completely and never try again. People who review the steps they took, take the L, figure out where they got it wrong, and get back up and try again, but now better and smarter, have a high chance of becoming successful in the future. The fourth sign somebody is going to be successful in the future is you spend time with winners.
What's funny about it is that as you're trying to fix yourself and dig yourself out of this deep hole that life, society, and you helped also, those people who you saw down there in that hole who were there with you, who are your friends and people who you counted on, because you meet the people in the same situation that you're in life. Those people become your friends. And second, you try to get out of that situation and become better, those people are in that grave, in that dungeon, just yanking at your heels, man, saying, get the fuck back. Oh no, come on back here, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna make me feel like shit by you getting out of this hole.
Who the fuck do you think you are?
So I get that all the time now. People would constantly remind me of who I used to be back in the day.
This is another thing I notice successful people put an emphasis on. Their circle. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And no matter who you are, if you spend time with winners, their aura will rub off on you. Unfortunately, many of us, our inner circles are filled with losers. People who procrastinate, people who don't have big dreams, people who think, oh, becoming successful is impossible, who think people that reach the top got lucky. The person who spends time with winners that are getting after it has a high chance of becoming successful in the future. The fifth sign somebody is most likely going to be successful in the future is they have confidence.
Statement that has gone incredibly viral is that you don't build confidence by shouting affirmations in the mirror, but by giving yourself a stack of undeniable proof that you are who you say you are. Outwork your self-doubt. And so I wholeheartedly reject the notion that you can beat your chest and have charisma, because I believe that confidence without evidence is delusion. Like if someone says, I can build a skyscraper, and they can say it as confidently as they want, but if they don't know how to build a skyscraper, they're not building a skyscraper. And the best way to know that you can build a skyscraper is having built one before. I'm
not talking about looking yourself in the mirror and shouting, I'm confident to yourself every morning. I'm talking about being good that you know you can pull it off. Like Alex Hormozi told us earlier, confidence comes from actually being good at something. And getting good is simply just putting in the reps in your craft. But most people never put in the reps. Therefore, they never get good. Therefore, they never have any sense of confidence in themselves. The person who puts in the work and is confident in his abilities, even if it's just a little bit, is a lot more likely to become successful than a person who never does anything and has no confidence in himself. The sixth sign somebody is most likely going to be successful in the future is they have great habits. This is actually one of the biggest indicators somebody is likely to be successful. The habits they do on a daily basis. A quick exercise you can do is asking yourself, if I keep living the way I've been living for the last week, months, or even year, where am I likely to end up 5 years from now? Fortunately for most of us, it's probably not in a good place. Because our day-to-day habits consist of bad habits like mindlessly scrolling, binge watching movies and TV shows, drinking, smoking, pornography, casual sex, drugs, and many other bad habits. Imagine you continue doing all these things for the next 5 years consistently. There's a high chance you won't be where you desire to be. But the person with great habits like learning, exercising, eating healthy food, meditating, spending time in nature, and many more has a high chance of becoming successful in the future. And finally, the seventh sign you are most likely to be successful in the future: you prioritize buying assets when possible. Many people spend most of their resources, not just money, time included, on things that are not going to give them anything valuable in return. I remember I once bought a book. It was 100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozi, actually. When people saw me reading this book, they asked me how much I bought it. I told them the price. It's relatively cheap, not that expensive. Almost everyone I told said they would rather have used that money to buy food or snacks than buy the book. You can see the thinking of many people. Many people will prefer to buy things that are not going to help them than spend the money on things that actually would. They will complain that they are broke and they don't have money and all that, but yet any little money that they get their hands on, they use to purchase their abilities, whether it be clothes or new gadgets or food, car, watches. I don't know what they spend their money on. Don't get the message twisted. The point isn't that you shouldn't enjoy the luxuries of life or eat food. The point is you shouldn't do it at the expense of your growth. The people who spend most of their resources on assets, whether it be books, courses, stocks, crypto, investing in their business or side hustle, whatever, have a higher chance of becoming successful in the future than people who don't. So, how many of these signs do you have? If you have all of them, oh bro, you're on the right path. Your chance of becoming successful in the future is very, very high. If you have a few of them, you're still on the right track. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep stacking up these habits and traits and all that. But if you have none of them, well, there's work to be done. It's time for you to actually sit up and get serious, unless you don't want to be successful in the future. But remember, these are just signs. Nothing is guaranteed, but the odds against your success drop significantly. By the way, if you are super serious and you want to start making money online ASAP and avoid a lot of the guesswork and trial and error that comes with making money online and everything, I've linked a few products in the description that I really think will help you out. Go check it out. These videos are not meant to be taken as financial advice or gospel. These are just tips and tactics and information and things of that nature from research, books, videos, courses, podcasts, and so on. So when you watch videos like this, don't take it as gospel. Take it with a grain of salt. If you find anything valuable, use it to your advantage. If not, discard the information.
You ain't see me activated. You better hope that you never see me agitated. I think about my actions, plan them out, evaluated. That's how I end up on the top, man, I'm calculated. My mind's a weapon, my body is the